All right, so this is the cage that she came in. She did not have a hide. I put this makeshift hide in here so that she had somewhere to go. As you can see, she is much too big for this tank. Oh my gosh, my tatas are gonna fall out of the shirt. I was literally just taking like an Instagram photo, which is why I look like I just stepped out of the 70s on the Las Vegas Strip. Just get a load of those bad boys. Bunnies are ready to party. Savannah monitor, out like a light. She is right back here in that hide right there. Finally, we are doing the video about the Savannah monitor rescue. In all honesty, it took me so long because I wanted to show you guys the final cage, and also there's a lot to know about these creatures, and there's a lot of information not on the internet. There's also a lot of information that is different in different places, but for the most part, generally it's somewhat the same. But I was hoping that I'd be able to handle her in the video and show you guys and stuff, but since she just got put into this tank, or whatever you want to call this, it's giant. As you can tell, it's 8 feet long and it takes up pretty much my entire garage. I didn't even like want a Savannah monitor. This just like happened to me, but now like I love her. Although we got to work together because she tried to bite me the past couple days. Where do I even start with this story? I think that we should start with Kristen on Craigslist because that's where all of these videos start. Am I right or am I right? New rule, Kristen's not allowed on Craigslist because I'm also rescuing a bearded dragon on Monday. That story, wait till you see these pictures of this poor thing's cage. I'm so excited to get her. I tried to like go, different story. Okay, I'm going off on a tangent. All right, so I was about to leave for Singapore and I saw an ad on Craigslist for a monitor lizard, and I was horrified at how small the tank was that she was in. It was also filled with about this much dirt from the outside, you could tell, because there was like little pieces of ceramic in it and whatnot. And if you follow me on Snapchat and you saw this, then it might ring a bell, but I basically snapped this Craigslist ad that I found and I was like, oh my goodness, this cage is crazy. Like I didn't even know anything about monitors at the time, and I knew that that cage was like completely unacceptable for a lizard that size. This is how big their cage should be, and this is the minimum. It's 8 feet by 4 feet, and this is the absolute minimum you can have a Savannah monitor in. So this tank, even the ad listed, like there was no shame. 17 inches wide, 4 feet long. A Savannah monitor like can't even turn around on that. It needs to be at least double their length. So I forgot what I was even saying, but I found a website that basically said most Savannah monitors don't make it past, I think it was like 70% of Savannah monitors don't make it past their first year because of improper husbandry. If you don't know what husbandry is, it's how you keep your animal, the enclosure that they're in. So I don't know why they call it that. That's a whole nother topic altogether. So anyways, I snapped this cage and I was trying to get in touch with this lady. I was like, what the heck? You're getting crazy over there, Hammy. What you doing? She's trying to move her whole exercise wheel. What are you doing? So anyways, I tried to get in touch with this lady and she finally got back to me, and I was literally leaving for Singapore, and I was like, look, I will, and her ad was basically like that they couldn't afford to feed her anymore. So I just wanted to get a little information. I was like, cause the cage had nothing in it. Literally nothing except about this much of outside dirt is what it looked like. No hides, no water, nothing in there. So a tiny tank and literally nothing in there. And as I did more research about monitors, as soon as I saw this, I was like, I need to educate myself about this animal. If I'm thinking about rescuing it, I really need to know what I'm getting into. Even if I do rescue it and then give it to an actual rescue who can give her a much better life if she's aggressive or whatever, like I would much rather do that. So right off the bat, I told the lady, I was like, does she bite? Like, just so I knew what I was getting into. And I told the lady, I was like, I will pay double what you're asking for her if you can hold her until I get back from Singapore. I couldn't bear the thought of someone else adopting her and keeping her in that cage. It was breaking my heart. And I literally thought about this lizard every single day that I was in Singapore. I could not shake the thought of her sitting in this cage. It was just bothering me. Anyways, we go to pick up the Savannah monitor, and this poor woman lives in just a really rundown house, and it's obvious that she's like down and out on her luck. And she's telling, really nice lady, telling me a story about how her husband lost his job, and you know, all these like different things that I just felt so bad. And so I was like, I'm really glad that I'm giving her double for the monitor. Like, she obviously needs it more than I do. We took her home, and as I got home and I was filming, I realized that not only was she in dirt that was like grabbed from the outside, but there was also like Miracle-Gro chemical pods in it, you know, like the little green circular things, like just all in there. Like, she went to Home Depot or something, or somebody did, picked up like this Miracle-Gro bullshit soil and put it in there. And I just was shocked and like really upset that someone thinks it's okay to put chemicals like that in there with an animal. I was just immediately like pissed, and then I was like, wait, like, she obviously couldn't afford anything else. And I was like, well, why'd she get this lizard to begin with then? Like, now it's my problem. So basically the cage and the tank was absolutely horrendous. She could hardly turn around in it. There was not a single hide in there. This woman also had like 3 or 4 kids running around, like young ones. This poor monitor lizard must just have been freaked out every day. She also had one light for the monitor lizard, and it was the kind that you plug into the wall. And I used my, I forget what it's actually called, the terminology of it, but it's like, it's basically a little gun that you click and it tells you what the temperature is there. It was 65 degrees, or 74 degrees. I think it was 74 degrees with that thing turned on. And a Savannah monitor, there's different information out there depending on what you're reading, but they need between 105 and 130 degrees for their basking area. And she had 74 degrees, and that was it. Okay, we're gonna do it. We're really gonna do it. I'm wearing a very appropriate sweater for this. All right.
It was the last we ever saw of Kristen.
I know. The last few days I've actually had my shirt in here so that she could smell me. Come here.
Well, just grab her.
Oh. Gotcha.
Well, that was pretty good.
Alright, it's okay.
So far, so good.
There you go. There you go.
What do you think?
Good girl.
So much bigger. Eh?
Savannah monitors also love to lay in the water. They poop in their water dish typically, which is easier to clean up. So I know you're probably like, ew, gross, but it actually makes it a lot better. She pooped not in her water dish today, and that was fun cleaning it up. I paid $1,800 for this tank. I paid $300 for the substrate that's inside, and it's this whole area. This technically should be a little deeper. We couldn't make it that deep because it would have been too heavy. So when we move, I plan on making like a really badass outside area for her. But for now, like, this is pretty good. This is so much better than what she had. But if you can give them 24 inches of solid dirt to dig in, that would be great. She doesn't seem to really dig, which is interesting. Like, I don't see the bedding messed up or anything, but not the bedding, the mulch. But she just got in here a day ago. So I'm still letting her adjust and stuff. But that's pretty much the story, her story. I'm trying to think if I'm forgetting anything. Oh, also we're keeping it nice and moist in here for her. Savannah's, like, when they are burrowing, the moisture can be kind of high. So it's usually between like 60 to 100% humidity, which might shock you because you think Savannah desert, like, not humid. But that's one thing she was missing in her other tank too. She had all this crazy shed on her and it wasn't coming off, and her pattern is like super faded and like doesn't look good, and I feel like it's just a bunch of old dead skin on there. So she is going to the vet. I almost said I got health insurance for her. I got pet insurance for her and my other animals, and I will be taking her to the vet when I get back from visiting my mother in Iowa. And so yeah, I will be taking her to the vet to see what's going on. This lady didn't even know how old she was. She also didn't know if she was a she. Based on her attitude and how non-aggressive she is with her tank and her enclosure, and she's not food aggressive, and the shape of her snout and how small it is, I believe that she is a female. One thing I want to touch on too is diet. When I got her, the woman told me that she was feeding her canned dog food and canned chicken, which is basically no bueno. It's a poor diet for a Savannah monitor, which is why I believe that she is so fat. She's a little bit overweight and she couldn't move around her tank, so that makes sense. If you're not chasing your food, you're not getting any exercise. So, and then I asked her, I said, okay, well, how often are you feeding her? What's her schedule so I can continue this and I will kind of shift out her diet rather than just like, boom, switching it. That's not good for anybody or anything. So she literally told me this, you guys. Are you listening? Listen. She literally said, because this makes me mad. She literally said, I wait for her to tell me if she's hungry or when she's hungry. I was like, lady, what? I couldn't even believe it. Like, I could not even believe it. So how often you feed a Savannah monitor and how much you feed them depends on their physical shape and how old they are. I do not know how old she is. She's at least a year old with her size. So everyone's telling me that she's 2 years old, but we gotta find out. So she's been eating a bit of shrimp. She absolutely loves seafood. She eats a thawed out mouse about once every 2 weeks. There's a lot of discussion and arguments online whether that is good for them or not. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm pretty sure that they are eating rodents on the Savannah out in the wild. So it sounds like something that would be legit to me. And so I've chosen to do that. I definitely will not ever be feeding her baby chicks or things like that people feed. I saw on one feeder website these little tiny baby, like quail babies, and I was like, oh, I could not ever do that. I know they eat it out in the wild, but I couldn't do it. So, and she also loves her dubia roaches. She gets a little calcium on there. I gut load those. She absolutely loves them. What else? I just started using Repti Links, which I heard from Taylor Nicole Dean's channel, and I tweeted her and she's like, yeah, these are awesome, you should get them. They're just like links of like crazy stuff inside, like quail, frog, iguana meat, like things like that that they actually eat in the wild. And so you just like, and it's for snakes and everything too, you just cut them open and put it on a plate, and that's that. So her diet is like so much better now. And if you have any fun diet tips that you do with your Savannah monitor that work out really well, let me know in the comments below, since I am a new Savannah monitor owner and I do not know everything. So, I mean, I've done loads and loads and loads of research to give her the best possible, but I'm totally open to suggestions and all of that good stuff. So I would appreciate it if you know a thing or two about Savannah monitors, handling food, etc. Maybe where to get those bigger tunnels. That would be awesome. Let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you in the next video. I gotta film about my new hamsters now, and awkward sign off. We'll see you in the next video, guys. Bye.